I wanted to chat quickly about how I take care of my skin from a non-toxic load point of view, and potentially our personal care routine at home, because people are interested to understand how to lower their toxic load in ways that might seem simple. And unfortunately, any kind of change for humans specifically, based on the way we're wired, never feels simple. Change takes, first of all, energy in motion. So you need to literally feel compelled to make change, and you need to feel it in your bones, so much so that you are able to then take action. Why I say change is energy in motion, because you can get enough energy to feel that you need to change, but without the emotion part, you don't act on your want to change, and nothing ever happens. How many times do you feel like you've been saying, I'm going to start this, I'm going to start that, I'm going to change the way I look at things, I'm going to get clean, I'm going to, I don't know, who knows. There's a million different ways of framing it, but people don't know how to take the action. And that goes back to what I say every time, like, you can do anything, but you can't do everything, because 9 times out of 10, the way we're wired out, our human nature does make it very, very difficult for us to actually take the action, and that is where the magic happens. So if you need someone to support you, if you need someone who will act as some form of a, what's the word, accountability holder, placeholder for you, who will help you to really see where you do need to make the change and where you are stumbling and where you are stuck, then that's what I do through the Kinetic Blueprint. So let's chat about our day. How many times do we interact with personal care products in a day, depending on where we are at in our lives? Unfortunately, the difficult thing is that this personal care products for men are some of the most toxic, and that is where some of the biggest issues are. Things like hair gels, aftershaves, lotions, pomades, all those things that men are putting in their hair. The hair absorbs toxic energy and heavy metals and certain stuff like that. So you know that if you went and had your hair tested, you'd quite easily be able to see what kind of chemicals you have in your body. And that is not to mention how that might affect women. Women are bleaching and dyeing and colouring their hair. And I'm not here to tell you that you've got to stop all of that and grow your hair out and never paint your nails or colour your hair again. But I am here to tell you that if you don't know how to manage your personal care products to the point of where you're aware of your toxic load and how those care products are impacting your toxic load, then you may well have to deal with disease in your life, which is how the word disease was coined. And you don't really want to have to do that. You just don't. So if you start off in the morning, the way that you start off your day often begins with, I don't know, brushing your teeth, washing your face, hopping in the shower, something like that. It has been said that some of the chemical compounds that have recently been banned in things like shampoos and conditioners, sulfates, phthalates, which I never know how to say, parabens, all of these things were regulated by the governing bodies that regulate how safe cosmetics are for human beings. However, they were regulated under the assumption that a human would only be using that one product in a day. And in this modern world, we are using aftershaves, perfumes, synthetic fragrances, synthetic toilet fresheners, synthetic paints. We are being exposed to inorganic compounds in so many different places in our lives. And the toxic load is what has caused the rate of cancer and disease to skyrocket through the roof. People can't understand why. It's because these chemicals were passed and regulated and then marketed to us. Softer skin, clearer skin, go on this Reaccutane and get rid of acne, without any respect for what it would do to the body, the side effects, the behavioral effects, and everything else that was at play. So tomorrow when you wake up, just start at the beginning and finish at the end. And maybe count, if you can, on 2 hands, the number of products you're exposing yourselves to. We spray aftershave all over ourselves, we breathe it in, the fumes of nail polish, acetone to remove nail polish, hair dyes, colorings, makeup that's not organic, shampoos, conditioners. What people actually don't know, which is hysterical, is that shampoos and conditioners, the reason why they make your hair feel soft and beautiful is because they strip all the natural oils off of the hair, and a conditioner then coats the hair with a plastic chemical. So your hair is almost coated in some version of a plastic that makes it give it that shiny look, like on that Pantene ad where the woman shakes her hair and everyone's like, oh my word, and goes out and buys Pantene for the rest of their lives, or 10 years at least. That shiny look is from a coating of a chemical that at the nature of it is plastic. And that is why at Fierce Nature, which is my non-toxic skincare brand from the land, not a lab. We use tallow, that's beef fat. That is the core emollient in my line. And it's not for everyone, but trust me, if you've been on a skincare journey and you've been on a healing journey and nothing has worked, you try put tallow on your skin. It's bioavailable, it's made by nature, it is made for our body. It is how our ancestors survived, it's how they kept warm, it's how they kept nourished, it's how they dealt with infections, scars, scabs, eczema, which probably didn't even exist in those days, because eczema again is a manifestation of too much toxic load or too much strain on the gut. So when people transition to our shampoo bars in Fierce Nature, which are tallow-based shampoo bars, they always complain, my hair is sticking together, it's clayey, it feels weird, it's odd. I said, yeah, because your hair is going through a healing crisis. And that's what happens when your hair starts to be stripped of the plastics, the chemicals, the sulfates, and the parabens in the shampoo that we've been using for so many years. And so whilst you're going through that process, we highly recommend that you help your hair and your body to detox by using clays on your hair. So we have a beautiful clay-based hair mask. It uses bentonite clay that sucks out toxins. I've talked a bit on my channel about bentonite clay. You can brush your teeth with it. You can put it onto pimples, scars, bee stings, anything that's infected. I used it to treat my son's eczema when it was at its worst. I used to make a bentonite clay poultice. It's an extracting, pulling, healing and detoxifying clay. And when you put this onto the ends of your hair without letting it dry, because I've made that mistake before, it literally will help pull out all of the chemicals and plastics as you transition away from commercial hair care. And then what I highly recommend is that you use an apple cider vinegar rinse, which you can just go to the supermarket and buy a really lovely raw with some other organic apple cider vinegar and rinse your hair with it, dilute it with a little bit of water. Or what we've done for you is we've used horsetail and lavender and other beautiful herbs for the scalp and the hair, and we've steeped our apple cider vinegar rinse in that for 3 weeks on the farm in Somerset. And then what happens is, while you're making that transition, you keep using the detox mask and you rinse with apple cider vinegar, and after a couple of weeks you will have got that plastic out of your hair and your hair will go back to how it is normally meant to be. It should not have to be washed every couple of days. In fact, the less you wash your hair, the better. The more you wash your hair, the more you're stripping the oils, the more you're coating it in plastic. And for days you don't wash your hair, guess what modern world has done? Created even more chemicals for you to absorb in the form of dry spray shampoo. And what makes me so sad is, growing up, I always thought those spray shampoos smelled toxic to me and I didn't want to involve myself with them. So I would use Johnson & Johnson's talc powder. You don't have to look far now to realize that Johnson & Johnson's talc powder has been struck off of the market because it contains all sorts of toxic ingredients that we are absorbing into our body, that babies for many years, and for me as a child growing up, were covered in talc powder. We used to love it. It has been struck off the market for its link to cancer in children and in women alike who are using it in their vagina. It's so sad. So what we've done at Fierce Nature is we've worked with kaolin clay and with arrowroot powder and made a really beautiful natural dry shampoo, because when you feel the front of your hair is slightly greasy, that does not mean you need to wash your hair. It means you need to just absorb the excess oils in the front of your hair, and you can do that using our dry shampoo. It's 100% natural, it smells beautiful, and it's soft and gentle, and we've done one with cacao powder for brunettes. How cool is that? It smells delish. And this is what I'm trying to tell people, that it takes a little bit of work of how to figure it out to do naturally. But if you know how to do it and you have access to products that really, really care, that are from the land, not from a lab, that are recipes from your grandmothers, not formula. My grandmother used to sit in the kitchen and melt sheep's fat and lanolin and make the most beautiful heel balm. And I always used to say to her, one day I'm going to sell this. I used to say it because I knew. And I always wanted people to understand that things like Vaseline and stuff that is marketed to us as natural is something you should be running a mile away from. So if you have a look at your skincare routine and you've decided that things need to change, then book a call with me. I chat through toxic load in my Kinetic Blueprint Mastermind, where we go through everything. How are you washing your clothes? Have you looked at laundry softeners and detergents? Just simple things. And I'll give you a tip now. Stop using laundry softener. Chuck it in the bin. Even if you just bought a new box and it cost you whatever, how many pounds, I don't care. Throw it in the bin. It's toxic. And the fabric, it sinks into the dye, and the fabric, as it is, we're already using fabrics that are inorganic and irritable to the skin. Farming, things that are pure cotton, clothes that are 100% pure cotton, that are cheap, are farmed with pesticides and herbicides. They treat the cotton, they bleach it, they dye it. And so people wonder why their children get eczema around the back of the neckline. The clothes are toxic. And I'm not saying I don't go, I don't know, sometimes to Zara or wherever and buy myself a beautiful little short set. You don't have to go so hard that you have no life. But once you understand your toxic load and once you understand where things are coming into your environment, you can buy stuff and understand how to treat it. So I just put a cup of white vinegar in our softener drawer and it works like a charm. If you want to learn more, get on a call with me. I love teaching about toxic load, and really the smallest changes in your life will make the biggest impact.